G'day and welcome to the new build series. This time round we are going to be working on this here yellow beauty. This is a 2007 Suzuki DRZ400. I bought it sight unseen from Gumtree. It was the cheapest one I could find on there with Rego, roadworthy and all the works. Turns out buying bikes sight unseen on the internet is maybe not the smartest thing ever. I can run through, or I will run through, some of the things to look out for and maybe reasons to actually inspect a bike before you buy it. Probably later in this series, but this is it. We're going to turn this thing into some kind of awesome scrambler. For today's episode, it's really just about finding out what I've got myself into. So we're going to be stripping off most of the fairings, or as much as we can get off, really to have a look at what it looks like underneath and get some kind of guide as to what we can turn this thing into. Now, inspiration for this build, I'll put a nice little photo up here. I found this picture on Instagram and I was just obsessed with the idea of trying to build one myself. Obviously, I do a lot of miles to and from work every day on my bike, usually on the Hyosung, which has been the previous build videos. And the plan is, this thing is a fair bit taller, so it should be a bit easier on my back, and the plan is to turn this into something super cool looking, and hopefully something like what I've seen online. Really actually have no idea what it's going to turn out like. Now, I've ordered a stack of parts that are arriving every day, so we'll be getting through different episodes of doing all sorts of stuff to this, getting it to look less like a dirt bike and more like something a little bit custom and cool. But let's get into it, start tearing stuff apart and see where we go. Now, worth noting for this build is that all the parts that I'm pulling off the bike I actually intend on reselling to recoup some of the cost on new parts. Luckily with these dirt bikes, they are constantly getting broken, which means people are always looking for parts. So we'll keep an eye out and see what parts we can salvage back off and sell on these to keep our costs down. So now the rear fairings are pretty much completely disassembled. I've got them all off. It is proper dirty on the underneath this bike, which you should expect from something that's been off-road. Next steps are going to be, I'm going to have a nice bevy while I drain the fuel tank, which I stupidly filled before I brought it here to be worked on. Then we'll take the fuel tank off and we can sort of inspect the chassis and see what kind of lines and such we've got to work with. The great news from the outset to start off with is that it's nice and flat. Across where the seat would be sitting, it's fairly narrow, which makes it nice and easy for building a seat. And hopefully I can make something half comfy on this. But let's drain this fuel tank, and I need a bit. Probably open a window. Okay, and it looks like this is going to be us for the first episode tearing down. That headlight fairing I was just about to remove, but one of the bolts is stripped out. It's going to need a bit of drilling out, and it still smells a bit fuely here, so I don't really feel like risking it too early. A few notable things that I'm going to have to work through. Obviously I've got a large radiator that's split into two tanks up the front that I'm going to have to deal with around my fuel tank that'll come down. A nice flat back for me to mount a seat. I'm thinking something along the lines of getting an old skateboard deck and then custom making some foam and some leather around that. Probably going to obviously hack off this rear subframe part, pretty much where the main frame ends. Got no interest in keeping the rest of the bike that long, but we'll just see where it comes to once the tank goes onto the bike. Outside of that, I've got a new set of handlebars on the way. These ones are damaged from a fall that it's had. I'll take these brush bars off and the mirrors and everything like that. And that'll be a project. So, tune in next time. I think we might start off this bike by the tank. Will probably be the first place we start. So tune in next time. We'll be custom fitting a tank that I've got to purchase and find, and then we'll probably move to doing the seat, the headlights, and whatever else it needs to make it look nice. Obviously I also do have a fair bit of stuff to gut out from under the bike still. We are going to get to that, but small things at a time. Alrighty guys, if you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.